Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing fine. Oh, excuse my dog. We've got some people out in the yard. um, anyway, I wanted to make a quick video and ask people how important do you think that thinking positive as far as mind over matter, as far as this coronavirus and the suggestion that everybody is going to get sick and die and whatever, the fear that they're pushing with all this, how important do you see it that you tell yourself, I'm not going to get sick? And I don't necessarily believe all this is true just because they're saying this in another country and pushing this on us. I mean, I'm not saying it's entirely fake, but we really don't know. And how many times have you gotten a little bit of a cough or something and told yourself, oh, no, no, I'm not getting sick. And then you just went and ate something that's a little more healthier for you or something like that. And then you really were okay, you know? So I just thought I'd kind of talk about that today a little bit and tell you some other things that are on my mind. I read an article that President Trump said that people that smoke pot are dumb. Well, I mean, he just needs to go shove some more burgers and fries down his face and maybe take a fast or two and realize that the only time there's never going to be a time on this planet that I'll take advice or take a stock in what somebody says ever. First, that's first and foremost. And secondly, um obviously he's a drinker. He wouldn't be overweight even from eating like burgers and fries. Even if he did that once a day, he wouldn't look like he looked. So he's sitting there calling people that smoke dumb. This is a man that got all his money from mommy and daddy, lost it all, then got the rest of his money through a divorce from his wife and rebuilt his empire like that. He's not a self made man. He's not even a law man. I'm sure he's learning about laws and statutes and everything now, you know. And even as a business person, I mean, I'm not calling him entirely stupid, but for somebody to go out there and actually assault and insult the entire world, I mean, people that smoke, that doesn't mean they do it every day. I would bet and I would venture to say he gets, I mean, if I have a few hits of smoke, I don't want to be out of my mind. I would venture to say he gets a lot more tipsy with one shot of scotch or whatever he drinks than I ever would want to be in my life. But, you know, and I'd like to see how he could handle life if everything did go down and he had no means to take care of himself. Would he know the difference between a button mushroom or a false morel or a morel or anything like that? Could he survive? You know, does he know how to plant a garden? Does he know how to graft a fruit tree or do anything that's actually substantial? And he attacks the whole world with his insults. That's one thing that's on my mind, you know. But then they're pushing that the coronavirus has started in China, and a lot of you know, and I told you, and you know, some believe me, some don't. I mean, if they were around people that were Masons or whatever, you know how they operate, and they're pushy people, and they believe in mind control, and control is the name of their game. So, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't watch it, but I saw that a call for an uprising had, oh, like we're all gonna die and pushing the fear thing. I mean, typically he's into showing us the symbols and everything. Like, I grew up knowing all these things anyway, and a lot of people do know, and a lot of people know and don't care. You know, that's that too. But he says that he's a Christian. So if you really have faith in God, are you believing that you're going to get sick? Are you buying everything they tell you just because they tell you that? Um, I don't know. I think a lot of when people do get sick, unless it's actually a physical thing, a lot of it has to do with suggestive um, programming and thinking and whatnot. So I don't know, just kind of beware of what they're saying out there. I wouldn't trust a lot of what they are pushing. And I was disappointed to see that a call from an uprising was pushing that. Um, well, here we go. We're all going to go or whatever. And even if we did, so what? You know, your energy in there is forever. I mean, okay, the promise that God gave us is that He would give us new hearts. Well, obviously, if you have a new heart, you're going to have a new being to put that heart in. Um, New heart in this extreme on this planet means that He's going to make you see things differently in a more tender, loving way. But actual um, new bodies and new names that we don't know. Um, and that's his promise to us. You know, we don't just go back into one lump of everything. We're individuals. It's just like okay, here's an example. The only one I can think of offhand is like there's a bunch of sperms in daddy and a bunch of eggs, but every single one of them when they meet, that's an individual. You can't just put them back in the same ball of wax and say, well, there you go. No, they've already been made. We're born, we're individuals. So the vagueness or the empty feeling that people get a lot out of sometimes in religion. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't those that are of a lower vibration that may not incarnate as a bunch of ants or something back on any plane of existence. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. Maybe it is for them, but I just don't feel that that's true for me, you know. So I guess it's a matter of what people believe, but I'm going to stress the mind over matter thing. Don't let this coronavirus get you scared and like pay it no, never mind. And I would pass it on to my family too, like don't be afraid. Don't worry about it. If you see somebody coughing, don't think that you're going to pick up this cough and start hacking too. It could become psychological and you could carry that on. And I know from experience when I was a little kid, if somebody in my family was sick or ill or the flu or something, I didn't even feel like I was sick, but then I thought I might get sick, and then I kind of did. If you know that feeling, if you see where I'm going with that, that's what I believe is happening in the world a lot right now. So I do believe the armor of God is staying strong in our minds and hearts and not letting this fear be pushed upon us. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing things to water and food and the air and everything else and trying to make us sick because, oh, yeah, they are. They're doing stuff. Obviously, we've all seen it, you know. But what I am saying is that is part of the armor of God is keeping our faith and knowing that we are going to be okay and knowing that when we are okay that God helped us with a way out like that. So um I had some, I won't call them names, it's difficult, uh pretty much call me a liar about the vials that I saw. And he's like, oh, you saw a vial? And I wrote back, no vials. And he's like, do you believe in flat earth and this and that and the next thing? And I'm like, whoa, okay, dude, that's and I told him no. I said, I'm fighting my opposition, which is the dark cabal and the Illuminati. And then somebody else wrote something. If they were going to just take one thing that I said, or they say, they said, they say and it was called something or another. I can't remember what this kid or person wrote, but something to the effect that if you just take one thing that they're and discredit their point is easier than lumping it all in one and discrediting all of what they're trying to say. And I came back and I said, I only have one mission, and that's to stop this crap that they're pushing on everybody else. And I just told you that this stuff was created Egyptian times and was in the United States before it was sent over to China. You believe what you want. I'm like, whatever, you know. So, and I said, and you'd know better if you met me. I said, you want to meet me? you know. So I didn't get no answer so far. But yeah, I don't take too kindly to being discredited when I'm just trying to tell the truth to people from what I saw. And I know what I saw. You know, if somebody wants to call me a liar, well, I'm going to have an issue with it. So, anyway, it's just like my first video that I made. When that video was being made, I was watching a friend of mine being just tormented by people that were of the darkness. And I knew who they were by the way they talked and the things they were saying. And the one person in particular that wrote in the book of Gematria, which I wrote in, I was taught about it when I was younger, when I was 15. So, and I'm in there. I wrote some kind of corny things, but they're in there. And, like the song Red Rubber Ball and different things like that. Well, anyway, my point being is had somebody literally that has my same, what my name adds up to, and birth date and numbers and everything. This person, the Illuminati gave birth to a child and named him exactly that it would correlate with my number and it numbers. And this person literally, in a manner of speaking, stole my identity and continued to push that they were, well, what my numbers come out to be is Christ helper. That's what it means in Hebrew. And this person was portraying themselves as me. So when I made that first video, I was pretty fried out at their bullshit and their lies because this person had worked out my gematria numbers and he knew exactly who I was, and then he started like trying to attack me and discredit me and that type of thing. So, that's a long story. And I don't really buy into the gematria crap. It is a part of Satan's craft and tactics and whatnot that was set into play a long time ago with the electronics and the ley lines. And I have videos on ley lines and monoliths. There's like two or three of them within the 800 and some videos I do have. So you might want to check down in there. I mean, just two, because of a title of my video doesn't mean that's like just the only thing I'll be talking about, because I'm one of these people that I might have something specifically on my mind, but there's so many other things, and you probably like that too. Gee, what am I going to talk about? Well, then you go off on not like a tangent, but like on another direction, and then come back to where you were because somehow it correlates that. So that happens to me. So some people like that and some people don't. So that's, totally up to you. As you can tell, I'm a little less tired. Maybe you can tell. Of course, it is at the end of the day here. I have to make supper and then take a shower here and that type of thing. So, but I had some time. I thought I'd share it with you. And I'm making porcupine meatballs tonight with hamburger and onion and rice. And then you take and put it in a fry pan, electric fry pan I use. And then you put like one scoop of tomato soup on each meatball, and it makes its own sauce. So it's pretty good. I like it. I haven't made it for a really long time, but kids think they're fun too. So I used to make them a lot for my sons. And They're pretty good with like a salad, but I think I'm just gonna make the meatballs. It's rice and that'll be good. We had rice last night and toast, and that was really good. Homemade bread into toast and cinnamon on our rice with milk and sugar, just like cereal or whatever. So, but I made it. Doug wanted the rice with the cinnamon, and I wanted to make extra to have it for the meatballs today. So I feel like I got into something I'm allergic to. You can probably tell I'm like breaking out. That happens. I might have touched something plastic or petroleum based. So that happens to me all the time. I feel swollen, you know. I don't know. It could be, there might be snow coming in. They said there might be some. That could be. That affects me too. So, but yes, I'm sore and tired. I have been sleeping better though, a little bit, getting a little more rest and um, getting my housework done and everything. But yeah, and it was a little colder out today than it has been the last couple days, but we have more warm weather coming in now, so I can't wait. And I saw my step grandson. I've got two of them, well, three of them. One from my daughter-in-law has a older son too than my granddaughters, but well, anyway, my stepdaughter has two sons, and one of them wrote, or it was a meme that said the first person that complains about winter, or I mean summer, the heat in summer, I'm going to punch him in the throat. Well, I'm not that severe, but I kind of feel the same way. I love summer. I really do. So I can't wait. Yeah. Anyway, um, so I going back to these people that I was talking to about the virus and whatnot, and the bios I saw. My point to them too was to not buy in everything that they're hearing and seeing just because this is what they say it is. That doesn't mean that it's so. And the superbug's been around forever in different stages in different parts of the world, and that's what the decay in our body is. Just different examples of what that is. That's my belief. Um, oh, let me see. Okay, they say they don't have a cure for it. I did hear that there was a baby girl that had it, and she lived through it and whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a little more thought into this. Like I say, I don't necessarily buy just because they're putting it out there that you know mass deaths are going to occur. I don't necessarily believe that, and I wonder what their ploy is. It's always something. It's like SARS or this, that, or the next thing, and always in a part of the world where we don't have access to it. We can't prove it or disprove it. And even if somebody came to me and said that they had been there or they said this or that doesn't mean I'd believe them either, you know? So, um, that's just a little what's on my mind today. So, but yeah, and I told these young people, younger, and they were guys that were kind of coming against me, that I love people and I'll just make friends with them. But, if you're my opposition, and I told them who my opposition was and why, then, and you're coming against me, you're just part of that. So that's the bottom line there. And that's the way I feel. And anybody could say the same thing. Well, you could say, well, if I say anything against you, you just aren't going to like me, and then I'm part of the dark cabal. Well, if you come against me and you can't see my heart is true, yeah, you are part of that. And I will come right back against you too. So that's the way I feel about that. So I don't really put put up with much. So, but yeah, beware of these people pushing that. Um, this is gonna like wipe everybody out because maybe it will the weak-minded or weak immune system, or maybe I'm wrong and I could just drop dead from all of it, but I still believe my soul's forever and we're going to be okay. So if we walk around living in fear or let us upset us, that's a part of our psyche that's getting attacked by them, you know, whether you're going to be okay or not. It's an extra worry and a part of your day that you really shouldn't even think about. Just set it aside. And I would just tell your loved ones to feel the same way because you're stronger than that. So don't buy into it. Don't buy any of their crap. If you hear something that goes against what God would want for you, and that's the will we have within ourselves, you stay strong. Don't buy that crap, you know. Just don't, you know. Don't ever think that any of these people on mainstream news or in the government or anywhere that they care about anybody but themselves, because they're not the ones out there farming and sewing and factories and whatever you're doing, or nursing or whatever you do for a living. They are not the ones out there working their butts off. They can pretend like they do, but you don't get your hands dirty when you're wearing $1,000 suit or whatever. That's probably the price of their shoes, you know. So it doesn't work like that. So, and I'm not jealous or envious of anything they have. I have everything I need and want in my life. I've always felt like that. There's a Metallica song. Um, uh, well, I can't remember the name of the song, but it just says, "Where I lay my head is home." Um, Wherever I may roam, where I lay my head is home. I've always felt like that. So um, that's that's just the independence in me. So okay, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me, and I know I have more things I want to talk to and other ways to kind of explain what I'm feeling inside, but I will get more rest and I'll be able to articulate that a little bit better. So Um, I love you all, and if you feel so inclined to go over on my Facebook page and look, and some of you are there, thank you. Um, and look at that science report about that parasite that doesn't need oxygen to live, and read the article about how it survives. Is very interesting, and it gives you the difference between the parasites that do need oxygen and how that works, and it's pretty easy to understand if you look kind of at science like it's sort of fun. um, See, I used to work with the Christian Scientists back in the 70s, and the ones that were in England, and I would write them a lot. Well, then they lost their funding, and a lot of people weren't interested in the correlation of God and science, which really kind of freaked me out because I was thinking, why wouldn't God and science correlate when God made everything that science is made out of? So that fried me out. Well, it was about 5 6 years ago now they came back into existence, which I say kudos for them, because that's where it's at. This is God's science, it's his biology, his world, you know so and the more we learn about it and understand about it, the more you're going to know about yourself. So, because we're connected to everything like that. So, okay, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good day or night wherever you're at.